All right, what is up, guys? Thanks for watching another Jaguars United live show. I'm super excited because today we are talking about specifically one of the biggest aspects of this team going forward, and that's the free agents. So the Jaguars did a bunch this year in free agents, and I got a special guest with me today that we're going to be talking about ranking those free agents when their value of their contracts. But before we get into all that, make sure that you follow the Instagram, make sure you follow the Twitter, and most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. When you get subscription notifications, you can see when we do live shows. We obviously do live shows randomly, so make sure that you are subscribed so you can see it. Today, I am super excited because today I am joined by my good buddy Cole. And you guys may remember Cole from a couple days ago when we did a show. Cole, how's it going?
What's going on, guys? Pretty good. Happy to be back. Very excited to get into what the show's about today. Free agents that could make a long-lasting impact on what we're trying to do here in Jacksonville. So very interested and excited to get into what we have for the show today.
So we spent like a good amount of money this year in the offseason. We kind of thought Urban Meyer was going to do that last year, and it turns out he didn't. But Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke, they backed the truck up and they brought in some people. But some of the contracts made sense, and some of them were maybe a little bloviated. So we're going to get into what we think, like which player do we think that is going to have the best or biggest impact according to their contract. Now, all of you know this is a fan show, so make sure that you're in the comments. Make sure that you let us know what you think. Which free agent do you think will have the biggest impact? We're about to have a list, about to put the list up here of the contracts. So before we dive in, like head first into the deep end, because the good thing about Cole is like me, where he does his due diligence and his research. So
you have to.
We're going to come on here and bring on some good info. Before we get to that, I want to hit some of these comments. Cass Shoots is the first one in the chat. Says, first, what's up, Jason?
Let's go.
Cass? Always good to see you, Cass. Philip Butcher says, United, what's good, Bubba? Hey, dude, everything's good with me right now. I mean,
everything's good.
Last week, like really off. So I'm just trying to enjoy it with a lot of content. Volkfang, who I have to give a shout out to Volkfang because I've seen Volkfang in the last couple shows I've been on. I was on UCF Jaguars channel last night. Go and watch that. And in my show the night before. And Volkfang is always bringing the knowledge bombs in the chat.
I love it.
Shout out to Volkfang.
I love it.
Appreciate it, Volkfang. Christian Charles says, yo, Jags history comes straight out and just says a Lucan. He just says a Lucan. Like,
I love it.
I love it. The question right off the bat. I love it. So I kind of put Cole on the spot here.
Okay.
Because when I talked to him about what I wanted to talk about with the show, I kind of said, like, who's going to be your number one?
Yes.
But I'm going to throw you a curveball here. And look, this is what we do around here, Cole.
All right.
I want you to go ahead and look at your list and kind of rank it like 1 through 5. Okay? If you can just go ahead and just look at it 1 through 5. All right? And I want you to start with number 5.
Of course.
Who do you think? And I'm about to put up the free agents here and their contracts. And I'm gonna give Cole a second here because I legit did not tell him that we were gonna do this reverse.
Yeah. No, I got a pretty good idea.
Right. So hit me. Who do you have number 5 as like your most value contract from the free agents?
Okay. Yeah, you did put me on the spot here. So looking at the people that I have on my list here, a lot of good picks. You know what? Let's just start off with, let me talk about Zay Jones for a second. Okay. I say he's probably going to be 5. And with this list right now, I'm not going to go into too specifics. I'm hoping that later in the show, we'll dive into contracts and information, all that. I'm just going to give you a rough list right now.
Okay.
Basically, with Zay Jones, I just think that we have a very, very crowded right now wide receiving core. And I don't know if he's going to be given enough opportunities to show off his contract. Now, before I go into, he's only, according to his contract, he's only really a top 40 wide receiver, according to what he's getting paid. So, like, are we expecting, 80 catches for 1,000 yards? Absolutely not. But, something in the range of 70 catches for, 700 yards, 600 yards, it could be possible. But again, that wide receiving room is just so crowded. including someone else who I'm going to go into later, but I'll just say Zay Jones right now at 5, okay? At number 4, even though it is a 1-year deal, I am going to put Evan Ingram up there, okay? Just because, we've heard ever since this guy has gotten drafted, especially by the Giants, that his upside is huge. You just can't stay healthy. And I am really hoping, again, that's why we gave him a 1-year deal, and, I applaud that. But I am hoping that this season is kind of a coming out for him and obviously Trevor Lawrence. But with him, Dan Arnold, and again, our stacked wide receiving core, I could see us really being lethal in the passing game, and I could see him really playing a part in that. So I would probably put him at number 4.
Okay, let me stop you there. Okay, so 4 and 5. We're gonna go 4 and 5 right off the bat. Okay.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And to be fair, I did, I put you on the spot there. So if we're a couple out of order, 4 and 5, like, don't hold against us. Don't hold against us.
Please don't.
For me, I don't have Zay Jones in my top 5 at all. Okay.
I hear you. I hear you.
So it's just like Zay Jones, like, doesn't do much for me, right? At 6'2", 200, he kind of has the same build as Marvin Jones. Like, I guess he's just a little bit younger Marvin Jones, I guess. He had decent games, but here's the thing about Zay Jones is, lining up 70% of the time from out wide with the Raiders last year, like you said, like, it's a crowded room. Like, where is he gonna find snaps with Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault, line up on the outside? You got all kind of, I get that, like, put him out there, spread the field, but I just don't see a lot of targets going his way. At number 5, I have Sadie Lucan. Okay, and here's why I have a Lucan at 5. And I know someone in the comments said they had him as the biggest value.
Tear him apart.
I like a Lucan. What concerns me about a Lucan is he got paid a lot of money. Okay, $30 million. A lot of money. I'm sorry. A Lucan was $49 million. $49.5 million over 3 years.
If
you look at how he graded out on PFF, ended the season with a 47 overall PFF grade. Now, I know he led the league in solo tackles with 131. I know he had 3 interceptions, but his coverage grade was a 54. His pass rush was a 49. His run defense was a 44. So overall, he didn't grade out well. And combine that with the fact that the linebacker room is going to be crowded now with Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma as like those interior linebackers, then I just kind of see him not really having as much production as his $50 million contract would insinuate. So
I agree with you. And to be honest with you, with that reasoning, I'm comfortable taking him out of my top 5, and I will tell you why. It is just the points you listed out there, but let's just get into the specifics. This year, he will be the 4th highest paid linebacker in the league. And do we honestly believe that he is going to go having a year of 192 combined and solo tackles and continue that production? I don't think so. And especially with that contract, like you said, 3 years, $49 million, 28 of that being 100% guaranteed. It's very difficult for me to put him on the list when you do have someone like Zay Jones. And again, his contract is just so small comparatively that if he were to go out there and give us 60, 70 catches for the 700 yards, I think that he is outperforming his contract. Whereas a Lucan, he's going to have a year comparable to last year to rationalize us paying him in a top 5 linebacker position. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, it has to be said that you have to overpay in free agency. So
yes.
Every player,
I agree.
We're talking about free agents. So every player is going to have to be overpaid for. So I am kind of adjusting for that. But
agreed.
I think he's coming in at 5. 4 for me is going to have to be Darius Williams. Okay, I think Darius Williams is gonna be a good player for us. I like his contract. I think he's a very good tackler, very underrated tackler. I mean, I was looking up his advanced numbers for tackling, and I think he graded out like 73, which is one of the best corner grades for someone that played as many snaps as he did. His coverage grade was a little low. But I mean, as a guy that can help in the run, he's going to be playing in the nickel, which means like in those nickel formations, he's going to be able to come up and play against the run or in the short yardage where you have to be able to tackle after giving up a quick slant or a quick out. So I think his game will fit. And you combine that with the contract that we gave him. I like that. 3 years, $30 million. That's $10 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Only 18 of it's guaranteed, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
29 years old, still got a lot of time left, in the tank. I think so. I think that Darius Williams is going to provide a spark for us for sure.
I agree with you there, and not to jump the gun on the list here, but I actually have him at 3. And
Perfect.
the only reason,
Good
and the
transition.
reason why is because I looked at those advanced stats, and when you were comparing them, because it's always fun to just compare players, his advanced stats are very, very similar or akin to what Eddie Jackson was doing when the Bears defense was really lighting up this league. And again, I know a lot of people may not necessarily know that play style, but Darius Williams, I do believe, is going to offer us a little bit of versatility on the outside. Like you said, I do think he's above average tackler. But when you look at those stats, it really tells you something. And again, that contract, he's getting paid as like the 21st top cornerback in the league. That's and to couple that with Shaq Griffin on the other side, I do think that is going to be potential to really strengthen our defense in the back half, especially with the safeties that we have needing some help.
So you have Darius Williams at number 3 on your list.
I do have Darius Williams at number 3 on my list. Correct.
Awesome. All right. Well, before we go further into it, let's hit some of these comments and see. Let's see what we have. Jags history says Lucan will have the breakout year for free agents. Okay. Look, I hope he does.
So do
I hope he does.
So do I.
Like I said, $50 million. I mean, I don't know if it's a breakout year. I mean, getting paid. And again, it's kind of confusing because we're talking about value of contract.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at $50 million, like he better be one of our best defenders. He's being
paid. That's exactly what we're saying.
Like,
yes.
I have the list. I mean, I'm looking at the list right now of defend. He's the highest paid player on our defense.
Yes.
He gets paid $15 million on his average salary. Shaq Griffin, our second highest paid player, $13 million.
Yep.
So you're looking at Lucan and Shaq Griffin. Shaq Griffin, I'm not big on, no secret on that, but those are our two highest paid players.
Exactly. But we're just boiling this down to contract value, and what I really was looking at is cap hit. How are they affecting our payroll moving forward? And again, just like you said, he is going to be the number 1 cap hit this year, so he has to play like it, and I think that's all we're saying.
Yeah. Third highest paid defensive player, which I don't think either one of us have on our list, is Foley Fatsukasi. Do you have him on your top 5?
I do not. Absolutely not.
So Foley Fatsukasi getting paid 3 years, $30 million, $10 million a year, $20 million guaranteed. Let's just take a second and talk about Foley Fatsukasi. He's a interior defensive lineman, 6'4", 318. Went to UConn. He was drafted in 2018 in the 6th round by the Jets. And when you look into his deep analytic numbers, he started off the season really, really good. I mean, I'm talking he had games with 50 tackles, 40 tackles, 35 tackles. And then with a lot of these guys, the middle of the season just hit them, and their numbers just dropped off drastically. I mean, he dropped off hard in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
But what's he's going to be asked to do? He's going to be asked to 2-gap. He's going to be asked to hold up gaps against the run so the edge rushers can get free. He had a great game against New Orleans. He had a great game against New England. But then he just had a terrible game against Miami and a terrible game against Cincinnati, which you can't blame him for that. But
yeah.
I mean, you look. I mean, he weeks 8, 9, 10, and 11. His tackling grade never passed 36.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 4-game stretch. I mean, he had a bounce back game in week 12 and then week 13, a 28 grade. So, I mean, you're looking at 5 out of 6 weeks in the middle of the season where the guy could not tackle. And when you're asking a defensive tackle to 2-gap, I think he's going to end up being a rotational piece. His contract's, like I said, he's like the 4th highest paid player on our defense. So, be interesting to see. Hopefully he's not a guy that we reached incredibly high for. But we'll see what happens. But honorable mention, I guess, Foley Fatsukasi. Some of those other comments, Kev B. Christian Kirk excelling would have been the most impact. Okay, so we'll get to. I think Christian Kirk's
Yeah, I
probably
think
in our
we're gonna
top.
get to that.
He's there.
Yeah,
He's there. Okay,
yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
talk about him in a second. Philip Butcher. I'm gonna go with Arden Key. I like it.
When you said honorable mention, I almost brought up Arden Key since we were talking about just linemen, but absolutely.
Let me just put a pin in it. I got Arden Key in my top 3. We'll get to him in a second.
Okay.
Volk Fang says, thanks, man. Looking forward to all the shows. Of course, Volk. Cash Shoot says, I think this is the first time where we've had a GM, head coach, and franchise quarterback a part of the team at the same time. I'm pumped. That's a good point. I mean, if you're big on the GM, a lot of people aren't. So
yeah, I was gonna say if you are big on the GM, then you would believe that. Yes.
Yeah. Robert Attridge says, wow, I'm late and we need a kicker. Yeah. That would suck if it comes down to the kicker being the reason why we lose games this year. After all the investments we've made and it comes down to we don't have a kicker.
At least that shows you that we're in game. But yes, I hear you.
I like that. That's a positive. I like that. Jags history says for offense, Sheriff. Kyle Donovan says Ingram better work on those suspect hands. He has had some drops in training camp. Kyle Donovan says Sheriff is great when healthy. Robert Attridge says with Peterson's roster when he won the Super Bowl, not one player had 1,000 yards with a bunch of 2s. Yeah, Robert, that's fair, but to be fair, he did have like Zach Ertz for all of those years who when a tight end has as many yards as he was having, like 900, 800 yards, like that's essentially the same value of a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah,
as far as like
they had a staunch defense and an amazing offensive line. So yeah absolutely.
Yeah. Volk Fang says if Sheriff plays all 17 games and all at that 5-time Pro Bowl level, then it's a lock. If not, then maybe Ingram. Just a disappointment if he has a good year and we only get 1 year at value. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Robert Attridge says 192 tackles is all I care about. He killed Sam on the Panthers with the nastiest hit of the year. Us and Them says we need a garbage man kicker like the 90s Disney movie. What movie was that?
I can't even tell you. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. What movie was that? Gosh, I remember that. That was a good movie. Someone in the chat's going to look that up and tell me the name of that movie because didn't he play for the Eagles? Am I mixing up like Invincible maybe? But like,
I mean, that's what I went to, Invincible.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so for my third, I think this is third value.
Yep.
I have Christian Kirk for number 3. Okay.
Gotcha.
I think Christian Kirk is going to be a great player. He's going to be on number 1. I've said it over and over again. I think Christian Kirk is going to be our best receiver. I think he'll have his best career year with us. I like what he offers us. My reservations are at 5'11". He's very limited on what he can do on the perimeter. Now, I know he doesn't have to play the perimeter. He plays the slot. I mean, 78% of his snaps coming from the slot, right? So definitely a slot guy. But another thing that worries me is he had a whole lot of production in the first 3 games of the season and then was very average after that. I mean, week 1, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, fantasy managers would back you up on that. Yes.
Right. Week 3 was his only 100-yard reception game of the year. So, I mean, like, went off weeks 1 through 3. And then I know they got some people back and things like that, but I'm a little worrisome. I like this game against San Francisco. But I think he had he had six catches on 6 targets. But I like Christian Kirk, but, we have to obviously mention the contract. At 4 years, $72 million. That's $18 million a year and $37 million guaranteed. So where do you have Christian Kirk on your list and why?
I have him at my number 2 spot. And the reason being is because the player I have in my number 1 spot, I think he is going to be absolutely essential in making sure that Christian Kirk has the, as you say, career best that he is going to have. Listen, at the beginning of this free agency, when Christian Kirk was signed, I think we all kind of said, like, oh, my God, the Jags overpaid. And I shared that sentiment as well. But I think we could all say this free agent wide receiver market this year has been absolutely crazy. And, I mean, we have, Tyreek Hill making, $30 million just next year. So right now, Christian Kirk is only going to be the 15th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. in terms of that value, I'm ecstatic. I think he is an amazing route runner. I think he is going to be able to get the separation. And again, me and you have talked about this a little bit off air, but those numbers are going to be a little inflated just because with DeAndre Hopkins being out for the majority of the year. Having said that, he is having to basically change his route in the middle of the play because he's playing with Kyler Murray, who's running around all the time. And I think when he is just told, hey, you got to run this route, you got to gain a little separation, and Trevor is told to look for him, I do think he is going to be wildly, wildly consistent and efficient for us. Absolutely. But I'll just go ahead and jump into it just because it is my segue. At number one, I do have Brandon Sheriff, and that is because I do think he instantly, when he walks onto the field and plays for us, he is our best lineman. Like someone in the comments said, if he just plays at an all-pro level, hopefully we get him for our entire season. But in 20, and let me get this right because I don't want to any comments to yell at me. In 2020, he only played 13 games, but he was still first-team All-Pro, and that just shows you the talent that we are dealing with. I think that if he is able to give us 15, 16 games of that Pro Bowl level offensive lineman, I think he is going to instantly be a wildly efficient lineman for us. And I do think that that is going to help Christian Kirk in our passing game. So I do have Christian Kirk at number 2. And the only reason I do not have him at number 1 is because, like you, I do think Christian Kirk is going to have a breakout year. But I do think it is dependent on Brandon Sheriff staying healthy. If he stays healthy for us and we have that consistent piece on our line, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to skyrocket this year. Again, having said that, injuries have been a concern in the past, but where Brandon Sheriff is, I mean, he is the top paid, right guard in the league. We have him at 3 years, $49.5 million, 30 of that is guaranteed. I think that if he just is on the field for 15, 16 games at the Pro Bowl level, he is going to easily be our best lineman and arguably could be the most effective piece that we have on our offense, obviously, besides Trevor Lawrence.
So I also have Brandon Sheriff on my list, but I have him at number 2. Okay. And the reason why, again, I mean, you mentioned I'm with you on everything. The guy plays every game. He's going to be all pro. He's going to be a Pro Bowler, the best lineman that we have, especially considering the lack of talent we have on our line.
Exactly.
With question marks everywhere.
Everywhere.
But, and I do think the injury thing's a little overplayed. Like last year, I mean, he missed 4 games in a row in the middle of the season. And then he missed the last 2 games of the season. So,
yes.
And the Washington lost all 6 of those games without him. Like when he played, he was like 7-4. So like the guy was like the common denominator in the team's wins and losses. So
absolutely,
he definitely is an effective player. He's definitely good. I'm glad that we got him, and I'm glad that we paid him what we paid him.
I agree.
And when you look at his contract of 3 years, $50 million, it's really not that bad. I mean, it's really not that bad for a guy that's as impactful for him. And he would be number 1 on my list if my number 1 wasn't just going to have tremendous value on his contract. That's the only reason. And so, as far, I mean, it was close for me. It was close. And Brandon Sheriff, again, a guy who is just going to help Trevor. He's going to help solidify the interior. Like, I'm suddenly excited for the interior of the offensive line. You're looking at Brandon Sheriff on the right, Luke Fortner at center, and then probably Tyler Shatley at left guard. I mean, I'm excited about that. Like, that's a decent interior line. I like what Brandon Sheriff offers. I mean, his PFF grades are good. 6'5", 315. He's turning 30. Just, a guy that you want on your team for sure. He didn't allow any sacks last year. 0.
Yeah.
0 sacks. He only allowed 1 hit on the quarterback. And we're talking a team that ran out there like Taylor Heineke, not like a guy who like senses pressure well.
Exactly.
So that's pretty impressive to me. I would like to see his snaps go up at 700 snaps. You'd like to see that go up, but I mean, that's obviously everyone knows that for sure. That's nothing new. Let me hit some of these comments here, and then I'll get to my number 1. We have it's free on YouTube, 90s quality. Oh, this is what it's called: garbage picking, field goal kicking, Philadelphia phenomenon. Great movie.
There you go.
Great
there
movie.
You go.
Like I don't remember anything about it besides the plot and the premise. Great movie. Good call, S&M. Good call. Grace Lambert donated $5 to the channel with
There we
Super
go.
Chat. That's always good to see. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
Volk Fang says, I don't think Balky has shown himself to be a top 16 GM, but I think he's displayed maybe 17 to 23 at least. A lot of the Jaguars' problems stem from years of poor decisions in the first 3 rounds. Volkfang, are you saying Taven Bryan was a bad decision? Because I will not stand for that. DJM says,
agree with you there.
DJM says, Jason Son, DJM, I always love when you're in the chat. He said Saturday came early. Not so much, DJM, because I still do have Saturday planned for when I'm breaking down the Jags defense. So that's going to be that show. We did it. This is a good plug. Go back and watch. I think on Tuesday I did the Jaguars offense. I played a lot of film from NFL.com Game Pass, and because of that, YouTube decided to shut down my stream about 40 minutes in, but we came back with another 30 minutes after that, so it's in 2 parts, which monetarily actually helps me, even though I don't make any money from these streams with film because they get copy striked, but that's okay. Side point there. Volkfang says, Sheriff was also in Washington, and we all know how highly Trent Williams thought of their medical staff. Oh, that's a Volkfang, bro. Volkfang brings out the...
Let's go.
Bro,
Bringing out the med staff. Okay.
Robert Atherton said, since we reset the market, he is cheap now. LOL. Talking about Christian Kirk.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. Absolutely. Yeah.
Robert Atzer goes on to say, looks like Josh Allen wore Taylor out at camp. LOL. Glad Walker Little gets his shot now. Zay Jones looks better than I thought he would be. So we talked a little bit about Zay Jones, and I guess before I get to my one, is there a chance that Zay Jones surprises us, steps up, becomes wide receiver 2, and really contributes to this offense?
I absolutely think that's a possibility. I mean, again, when you look at the room that the Jaguars have, Christian Kirk's going to be our number 1. That's absolutely, there's no doubt about that. But then you're followed with Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, Jamal Agnew, who's currently injured, Laquan Treadwell, and Laviska Shenault, who has been down on the depth chart. I think it's absolutely possible that he is thrust to a larger role as the season goes on and is set out to the outside when Christian Kirk can make some damage done in the slot. Listen, am I predicting that he is going to, as being paid as a top 40 wide receiver, is he going to come out and put up top 20 numbers? No, absolutely not. But do I think by the end of the year, is he going to be a reliable second to third, I'm changing the question a little on you, but a second to third option for us if Christian Kirk isn't getting it done? I do. And again, you look back at the Vegas numbers, they're not awful. They're just he is on the outside a lot. Now, granted, they got Derek Carr there. Derek Carr wildly rated, but I do think there is a possibility that he steps into that 2 role. Because I mean, we gave Marvin Jones essentially the chance to be a number 1 last year. I mean, you could say that we had DJ Chark there, but I mean, he had opportunities to be the number 1, and I don't think that he proved that he deserved to be in that spot. Let alone, still be potentially our number 2 guy with us paying Zay Jones, 3 years, $24 million. So I do think it is a possibility. But I am very excited to see what this wide receiver group brings to us. I am very, very high on Jamal Agnew. I think anyone who's a Jags fan watches the games. Jamal Agnew, freaking nature athletically. So yeah, I think it's a possibility for sure.
Here's a fun little stat about Zay Jones. Okay. Weeks 1 through 11. He did not have a game where he had over 2 receptions. Okay. Weeks 1 through 11, didn't even have a game over 2 receptions. In fact, he only had 1 game, weeks 1 through 11, where he had more than 1 reception.
I see.
Not good. But then if you take a look at weeks 12 through 18, okay, so the last, 6 games of the season. 5 receptions, 3 receptions, 5 receptions, 6 receptions, 6 receptions, 8 receptions, and then 5 receptions. So he had a huge turn at week 12 at becoming a completely contributing wide receiver. Now, I'm sure there were injuries and depth chart issues in Las Vegas. I don't know. I'm not into it on like that. But the guy is definitely playing his best football right now. So there is a chance. I mean, week 17 against Indianapolis, so the week before they lost to the Jags, Zay Jones had 10 targets with 8 receptions and 120 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was like the second to last game of the season. So he has it in him. And I think that's what the Jags coaches and GMs are looking at, because same with Christian Kirk, he has it in him. Like you talked about, came from that West Coast offense in Arizona. He's coming into a pro-style offense, an RPO offense here in Jacksonville, where he's going to be able to run routes, timing routes, 3-step, 5-step drops, and catch the ball. He didn't have that with Kyler Murray. He didn't have a quarterback that could see over the offensive line in Arizona. So
taking shots.
Definitely going to have something there. Okay, so I think I'm just going to go into my number one player, and I think with deductive reasoning, we have smart fans around here. You guys have already put the pieces together. But my number one player, as far as value free agent contributing to our team, is going to be Arden Key. Okay? Arden Key. And here's why. My man played in probably less than 50% of the snaps in San Francisco. And to be fair, San Francisco has a pretty stacked edge outside linebacker room.
Group. Okay?
Yeah, so absolutely. They might be one of the top rooms in the league. And he went out there and put up 8 sacks on, I think, only 375 snaps.
Yeah.
I did the math. I think out of every 32 snaps, he had a sack. Think about that. 32 snaps. I mean, that's 2 drives.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like, you play an entire season like that, fans. Do the math. I mean, yeah.
So, and the thing is I don't think he's going to come in here and play every snap. I think he's going to be a rotational piece here. He's going to come spell out Trevon Walker. He's going to come spell Josh Allen out. But the thing is he gets to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking these like nickel, like NASCAR, lightning, whatever word you want to use, packages where you move Trevon Walker on the defensive line to like the 5 technique, and then you put Arden Key out there on the 9 technique as an edge rusher. You put Josh Allen on the other edge. They're going to double team Josh Allen. They're going to double team Trevon Walker. And guess who's going to get one-on-one with the running back? Arden Key.
Yeah.
And so that's what, I mean, and you look at his contract. I mean, Arden Key's contract is 1 year. One year, $4 million.
$4 million. We're paying him nothing.
So if he gets 8 sacks again on those 375 snaps, he's literally getting paid $500,000 a sack.
Yeah. I agree with you. And actually, when I was doing my research for this, my notes on Arden Key was he has to establish reliable pass rush in the snaps that he has played, because like you said, it is a very crowded room. But I agree with you. And another note here I said was dependent on pressure rating. I think if he is able to maintain consistent pressure on their backfield when he is in the game, I absolutely agree with you. I do think he can skyrocket up this list because, again, we are paying him literally nothing. We're paying him $4 million. So I love that. I love that you put him at number 1. I'm a little jealous myself, but I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, just as far as value. Now, people are going to take us out of context and say, I said he was the best free agent. Not what I'm saying. I'm saying value relative to the contract. And when we talked about this show topic, like, if you wanted to say value to the team, you could just go straight down the line on what they're getting paid.
Yeah,
but value to their contract is something way different. Kev B just brought up in the chat, and I had to look it up to make sure it was true. We reset the market so much, in fact, that DK Metcalf just signed a deal.
I saw it.
With Seattle with 3 years, $72 million. So that's 25% more than what we paid Christian Kirk, because it's the same amount of money for 1 year less. So, I mean, that's a lot of money for DK. I like DK Metcalf. I mean, is he now the top paid receiver in the league? Did Devontae get more than that? I can't remember.
I think when they reset it, I think Tyreek was still at the top with Devontae at second, but it's possible. But again, like that's the point we made. I mean, we made this move for Christian Kirk. We were saying we're giving all this guaranteed money away to players, but I mean, look at this wide receiving bubble, if you will. I mean, they're getting just absolutely loads and loads of money. So yeah, I agree. Again, he's only top 15 in the league in terms of what he's getting paid. So I completely agree.
Well, I mean, you knew it was coming. It's a passing league, and like
Yeah.
quarterbacks and in any
Offensive league.
position, the
Yep.
contracts just keep going up. I mean, it's that's how it goes. So
And that's an argument and pro for Balky. Doing that so early. Because if we wait on Christian Kirk, we may have to pay him 4 years, $100 million.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Let's hit some of these chat comments and see what and then see what we got going on here. Jayville Taylor says, "How do you see LaVisca fitting in this crowded wide receiver room?" Cole, I'll let you take this one.
And again, I mean, I was just looking at a report today. I mean, he has officially been bumped down according to the depth chart. And again, you still have Jamal Agnew in there who's injured, but I was never as big on LaVisca as most others were, and I'm not saying people were saying he was going to be sleep pick of the draft, even though I definitely did hear that from people. But I just think that when you have Christian Kirk in front, obviously as a number one, paying Zay Jones what we have, Marvin Jones is obviously a veteran. You're going to make sure he gets snaps. I don't know if there's going to be enough room for him to be a consistently productive. And when I say consistently productive, I'm talking, 40, 50 yards a game, maybe even less. But I just think that is incredibly crowded. I would err on the side of caution and say that he will more than likely, by the end of the year, be getting zoned out by Zay Jones, Jamal Agnew, even possibly Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are big on Laquan Treadwell. I was surprised the Jags picked up re-signed him after last year. I mean, he had a couple of big plays, and I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, he's been passed around through teams, and that always makes me like Zay Jones the same way. Like Zay Jones has been passed around for multiple teams, and like that's never a good sign.
Yeah.
But look, Zay Jones is still young enough to where he could still establish himself.
Absolutely.
Laquan Treadwell, I guess he is too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. LaVisca, for me, I think this is his last year to prove something. I mean,
absolutely.
Not only is it his contract year, but the fact that if you there's no worse stigma on a receiver than can't catch the ball.
Drops. Absolutely.
Like, I would rather you be injured or not a good route runner or not great off the line or can't beat a press or, but
absolutely.
If you drop the ball, there's no room for you in the NFL. That's your job. That's like a quarterback that can't throw the ball. There's no room for you in the league. Look at guys like, Tebow and Cam Newton at the end of his career and, Josh Rosen, and even looking at guys like Baker Mayfield. They have all the intangibles. They can run. They make the right reads. They all have different things about them, like locker room, leadership, experience. If you can't throw the ball, you're not going to play quarterback. If you can't catch the ball, you're not going to play receiver. And I know this is people's worry about Evan Ingram with his drops in the training camp. And I know LaVisca had the one-handed catch today, okay, but not as impressive to me as maybe two other people. Good question, though, Jayville Taylor.
Yeah.
Robert Adsert, how do you guys like Campbell's throw? I'm sorry, Campbell's throw it my way, and it's like Chick-fil-A on Sunday. Talking about Tyson Campbell. Yeah. No, Tyson Campbell's a beast. He's our best corner by a mile.
Yeah.
Shaq Griffin is embarrassing how much he gets paid and how he plays. Tugger Nut, what up, Tug? Says T-Law is the best quarterback in the AFC South. If you ask Cole, he's going to say Davis Mills, but
yeah. Well, again, we go check out our AFC South video for that. But I think I laid out a very compelling argument for Davis Mills aficionados.
I saw some stat about Matt Ryan today that really threw me off. Hold on, it was like I screenshotted it because I thought it was so noteworthy. Let me look real quick. Matt Ryan's cap hit next year. Cole, take a guess at what his cap hit is next year.
Yeah,
take a guess at what his cap hit is next year.
Are we talking money wise?
Yes, contract.
Okay. Oh God, I'm gonna come out here and look like a fool.
No, just throw it out there.
I'll say his cap hit is $18 million.
That would be like a reasonable guess. Like, if you were to ask me, I would say 18 to 20.
Yeah.
18, 20. $35 million. $35 million. Are you serious?
That's a lot. That's got to put him up there, top quarterbacks.
I mean, obviously this was from the Falcons contract, but so this year his cap hit is is 18.7. So you're right. That was his
nice.
cap hit this year.
Yeah.
His cap hit next year 35.2.
Oh my gosh.
In the dead cap 35.2. So you can't cut him. Like he's your quarterback.
No, you can't cut. Yeah, he is. Yep.
That absolutely blows my mind. Like that makes me just be like, we are in such a better position than the Colts, and I already thought that, but just looking at that, like, holy moly, I could not believe it. But little side point there.
Yeah, I guess.
Us and them said Zay Jones picked up his stats after Darren Waller got hurt. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
And also, and I thought you were alluding to it when you mentioned the depth chart issues, but let's not all forget what happened to Henry Ruggs in the middle of the season.
What happened? I don't remember. Who's that?
You don't remember?
Who's Henry? Who's Henry Ruggs?
Henry.
Is that a football player?
You're kidding.
Us and them says Arden Key
gosh.
is really talented, and I like him, but he is straight up a Trent Baalke guy, so that's why he's here. Okay, I like him.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Again, paying him $4 million. Let's see how he does.
And then he says sixth highest paid. I think he was talking about who was he talking about? I saw it when we were talking about it. It was someone that we were saying, oh, it was who's the receiver that just got signed? We were talking about
DK Metcalf?
DK Metcalf, sixth highest paid receiver.
Sixth highest paid. Wow.
According to us and them.
Wow.
Volkfang, usually GMs can't make the other teams in the division shed their best talent, but the Baalke masterclass resetting the wide receiver market got A.J. Brown out of Tennessee. Wow, that's big brain.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely connect. You could definitely connect the dots there. I mean, I would make the argument. I mean, what if Devontae and Tyreek aren't on the move this year? I don't think that this bubble is nearly as large, and I don't think receivers are getting paid as much. But yeah, I mean, maybe Baalke knew it was going to happen. Who knew?
Gerald, always loved Gerald. He says you may have covered this already, but kicking game is looking suspect.
Why have we had so many comments about our kicking game?
We might have to do a kicking game video here soon. I didn't realize it was. I mean, like I said it earlier. We're gonna be real pissed if we lose games because of our kicker.
And again, and I said it again, I won't be, because that tells us that we are in games. I mean,
we're gonna be wishing for the days of Josh Lambo.
Yes, we
Nick
are.
Right? I remember his first name.
Shouldn't have kicked him. Shouldn't have kicked him, Urban.
TD Frazee, who TD Frazee, I've known him for a long time. I mean, he was. I'll tell you something about TD Frazee. When I was in high school, I was playing flag football in an adult league. I had to lie about my age because it was like an adult league only. And Darren was out there, and Darren's like, forgive me if I'm wrong, Darren, but you're 6'6", and I was like a 16-year-old, and me and him would just chomp it up. I'm like, bro, I'm covering you one-on-one. I was like, throw him a fade route, throw him a ball in the corner of the end zone. And me and him would have such the greatest battles ever. And Darren, I'll never forget those times. Never forget those times. Yeah, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
He said 3 nights in a row, you're spoiling us. Well, to be fair, last night I was on UCF Jaguars channel. So it wasn't technically my channel, but
you're Jags right. United.
Hey, the season's starting. Dude, my subscribers have gone up on YouTube like insane. You guys are definitely excited about the season coming up.
That's awesome.
Robert Atzert. What's funny is Trevor Allcamp catches balls with one hand and with no gloves like it's natural. Well, Trevor's an athlete. He's probably the best athlete on the team.
He probably is.
Trevon Walker's the best athlete on the team. But, I mean, when you consider, like, what Trevor has to know as far as, like, game plan and schemes and, I guess you could account for that. Intelligence, I guess. Volkfang says, that much money? With the rest of the wide receiver market, rip the Colts wide receiver core.
Yeah, that's a big question mark for them. They got almost no one out there.
Robert Adler says, we got to get Matty Ice back to kick. LOL. Better than nothing. Matt Wright. That was his name.
Let's see.
TD Frazee says he's 6'5", not 6'6". He's 6'5".
But
he's 6'5" and, like, big. Like, he's not like a skinny.
He's a tall 6'5".
Yeah, he's not like he's not like this like skinny basketball players that way. Like nowadays they come out of college like 6'5", like 180. Like he's the dude that out of Gonzaga that just got drafted. Chet Holgrim.
Oh well, Chet Holgrim's like 7 foot, but he weighs 180, like soaking
yeah,
wet.
Darren's not that. Okay,
Yeah.
he is not that. He's more like Julio Jones, if you know what I mean.
There we go.
Yeah,
Felt like a tank.
yeah, for sure. But yeah. So we went through our top 5 of our. Chase says, "What's Scobie up to?"
Oh gosh.
I put something up today on Twitter, and I asked you guys on Twitter. I said, "Who's the best value free agent for the money?" Okay, so I put it on Twitter to see what you guys would say.
Yeah.
And you guys, it was actually really close. Winning the vote at 31%. Brandon Sheriff. You guys said Brandon Sheriff 31%. A tie. Second place with Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram was second place with 28%.
Evan Ingram's high. It was 1 year.
So Evan Ingram got some love. So we didn't spend a lot of time talking about Evan Ingram. So
no.
Do you have any thoughts on Evan Ingram? Like, what do you see him doing? What do you see him contributing to this team this year? What do you hope you see, and what do you think you'll actually see?
Again, we've talked about it a few times. You know, the drops in training camp are definitely concerning. I mean, if you look at his stats, catch rate, I mean, has gone down. 2018, 70%, 2019, 65%, 2020, 57%. But he's also not playing in the full season of games. So again, kind of the same sentiment with Arden Key. You know, not as much because we're only paying Arden $4 million, but with Evan Ingram, we're paying 1 year $9 million. That could be $10 million with incentives. Again, if he comes out and gives us 14, 15 games, about 50 yards a game, I think Evan Ingram could be a very good value pick free agent. But again, the injuries, much like with Brandon Sheriff, the injuries are just they are too common to ignore, so you have to keep your eye on them. But again, Evan Ingram has. I used to have a buddy that was a huge Giants fan. I mean, his upside is huge. He just has to stay healthy. A wildly athletic tight end who I do think could make some in our offense.
I mean, when he came out of college, out of Ole Miss, and he ran that 4.4.
Yeah,
at 6'3", 240. People were like, "Okay, this dude is just gonna be a freak."
Yeah, this guy's a freaking agent.
Unfortunately, he couldn't stay healthy. We talk about it all the time. The best ability is availability.
Yeah.
But I would actually argue people give him like the injured moniker, but this last year he wasn't really that injured. He played in 15 games. I mean, that's true. That's good. I mean, that's a good amount of games. Like if he gives us 15 games, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
The problem is in 9 of those 15 games, he had 3 catches or less.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I understand you're playing on the Giants. I understand, like, they had the whole quarterback issue with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, we understand.
Saquon Barkley got hurt, and I understand all that. But still, like, 3 catches, and he never had more. I mean, he had 1 game with 7 catches, 1 game with 6 catches, a couple games sprinkled in with 4, but the rest were just like 1, 2, and 3 reception games.
That's true.
And, I mean, the guy never had more than, like, 50 yards in a game. I mean, he had 1 game with 60 yards. I mean, like, so, like, he's not on my list, man. I mean, and not only that, he can't run block. I mean, so not only are you not contributing that much in the passing game, is you're also not really run blocking at all. You know?
That's true. I think let me ask you this: at the end of the year, when we get to the end of the year, and hopefully we're in the playoffs, but if I told you that Evan Ingram is giving us 50 yards a game with 4 touchdowns, would you say that he has met his contract value?
If he makes 50 yards a game, I think he becomes my number 1 value player on our team. Because there's no way he gets 50 yards a game.
Okay.
There's not a shot in hell he makes 50 yards a game.
Because that's what he averaged his first 3 seasons. And that's, I mean, even, you throw some injuries in there, I absolutely agree, but last year was by far his worst. And I just think, again, I think he's too athletic to not do damage, but your comment on the running game, I think is very, very telling. I do think he is not the best run blocker.
The career yards per game, I think, get skewed by his rookie year where he like went off and then followed up his rookie year with 3 years of just mediocrity.
Yeah, I mean, you could say mediocrity, but you could also say, unavailability because, for some of those games,
But he
some of those
played
years, he's only
15
playing
games
8
last
games.
year. So last year was the first time that he actually was available, and he averaged. I mean, look here.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
not
27,
good.
27 yards a game. Yeah, 27 yards a game. Yeah, I hear you.
That's not good.
I hear you. But again, I mean, I think everyone in the world would agree that Trevor Lawrence is a massive upgrade from Daniel Jones, and I know we understand all of that. But I do think he is capable of giving us anywhere between the 40 to 50 yards a game mark. I absolutely do, if he's available for us.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen, I'm here
Absolutely.
for it. I'm here for. I hope. I'm rooting for him. I want him to be the number one player, the number one value player. I do. I'm trying to think realistically.
Yeah. Well, you also said you're going to say realistically, but you also said you have the Jags division.
That's true.
So,
I do think that.
Yeah. I got you.
Jesus King says, I'm late, but I'm here. Jesus King, bro. Jesus King is one of the best Jags fans out there. He really is. Number one.
Nice.
Probably number one in my heart. He says, he goes on to say, Trevon Walker is going to be a beast. He's a sponge, just taking it all in. I feel more confident in this pick than Dante Fowler Jr. It's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, what a name drop.
Hey, I was big on Dante Fowler. I was.
And everyone is big on Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, that's true. Dante Fowler got the raw end of a deal. If you look at his production in 2017, it was very Arden Key-esque, if you will. If you will.
There you go.
Robert Atzert says, did you watch Trevon Walker basketball highlights yet? He was the team. No, but I'm going to.
Also basketball highlights you should watch up. And again, I know this is a Jags show, but Big Q, Colts, Quentin Nelson, amazing point guard. You would not think that by looking at him.
My favorite basketball highlights are, when we're talking about football players, former Jaguar All-Pro wide receiver Matt Jones. Look up his.
Okay.
Not only did he play basketball,
I will.
He played college basketball. He played at Arkansas. My guy was whamming the ball and slinging the ball. All right,
I love it.
That's some highlights you want. And he was wearing like the 2000s, like Allen Iverson baggy shorts and baggy jersey. Dude, that dude was a beast, bro.
I love it.
A beast. R.I.P. Matt Jones. That we had the jersey up for years, but he got replaced by Colorado when they won the Stanley Cup this year.
There you go.
Us and them says Evan Ingram dropped that ball that Shaq picked off. Yeah. Nolly Full Cap. Nolly Full Cap's a channel member. Okay. You may be asking, what's a channel member? A channel member is someone who can do special things like spam Blake Bortles emojis in the chat. He's a channel member. Nolly Full Cap, thank you for being here. He said, started my new job today, so I'm just here to say Bortles emojis. Nolly, congratulations. I hope you like the job. I hope you love the job.
Yeah, congrats.
And I hope you have continued success in everything that you do, Nolly. Thank you for being a channel member. Always good to see you.
Yeah.
Look at his quarterback. Walker won 2 championships. Probably high school, I'm guessing. Jesus is king. Doug Peterson knows how to use tight ends. I have faith in Evan Ingram. When he was with the Giants for the last couple of seasons, I feel he lost confidence in his coaching staff. Horrible quarterback play and terrible coaching.
Completely agree.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All
Chase,
the points there.
Is it the same Matt Jones that I see in Jags chats all the time? Probably not.
Yeah.
My boy Matt Jones is skeeted up somewhere on an Arkansas golf course. Not worried about reality at all, if I had to guess.
Living the dream.
Shay J, who has the channel member. Shay J, another channel member. Thank you, Shay.
Nice.
Shay's a good guy as well. Shay, I don't know if Shay still does this, and I don't want to. Okay, maybe I won't air him out. But Shay J has connections to the Jaguars that none of us have. Let me just.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Nice.
That's all I'm gonna say. Shay J is one of the good ones. Hope you're doing good, Shay. He says, did you see the Giants fans spam the tweet about Evan Ingram dropping the pass?
Yes, I did see that.
And he says, also, what's up, Jason? What's up, Shay? I miss you, Shay. I miss the good old days. Shay and me, we're friends in the good old days, if you know what I mean. Al Cajones says Duval. Robert Atchard says tight end for Pete got balls 30% of snaps. Tight end for Pete got balls. I don't know what that means, Robert. You have to clarify.
Nope.
Shay says he still does. Okay, so Shay still does work on the sidelines of Jags games. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, very nice.
Tugger Nut, any games you guys think we pull an upset? I got us beating the Raiders.
Ooh.
I can see us beating the Broncos. And I'm a little suspect of the Chiefs this year. Like,
okay, let's stop.
I mean,
stop it.
Losing Tyreek Hill is big.
Stop it. Oh my God. We're going to cut and paste this clip. And when we verse the Chiefs, I want to play this back because that is, wow. I think there's a possibility. I think there's a possibility that we sweep almost everyone in our division before we beat the Chiefs.
Do you not agree the Chiefs took a significant step back by losing Tyreek Hill?
I would counter with the word significant. I don't think it's as significant as people are saying.
So you think Mecole Hardman, who was the former Gator that's on that team, this is random. I mean, who's playing receiver? I mean, you got Travis Kelce. He's getting worse.
You have Demarcus Robinson there.
Demarcus Robinson. There's the former Gator.
You have receivers that have been on this team for years that understand the play style. And yes, I dude. First of all, let me just put it to you this way. I am not on as big on Tyreek Hill as some other people. I think he is an amazing receiver. Do not get me wrong. I do. But I could give you a list of about 3 or 4 receivers that I confidently believe are better than him. And I'm not saying that they aren't going to take a step back. That's not what I'm saying. But do I think the production is going to fall off drastically? So it makes a significant difference. No, because I still think they're at the end of this season they're going to be one of the top 2 best teams in the AFC. So no, I don't think that's going.
Who are their offensive weapons outside of Patrick Mahomes?
Outside of Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, which I understand is the quarterback. I get that. You have Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Mecole Hardman.
Don't even make me bring up Derek Gore.
Who?
Derek Gore? No, he's a 40-year-old running back.
Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah. Harrison Butker, it's an all-pro kicker. Just throw him out there. No, I'm just kidding. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, their running back, had injury problems, but I liked him.
Okay.
You obviously forgot that they signed Josh Gordon. Obviously, we forgot about that.
Yeah, I was trying to pick up some weed.
Obviously. That man played high and still was top 5 in freaking receiving yards one year. So, yeah. I want that man. Get him at 100%. He's leading the league. Are you kidding?
Yeah. So my fact remains that their offense is pathetic without Tyreek Hill.
You could even make the argument that they have a top 3 offensive line. So no, I don't think that their production is going to fall off immensely. No, I don't. Do I think Hardman? Oh, I didn't even bring up the TikTok sensation. I didn't even bring him up. Let's go.
The TikToks between Jackson Mahomes and Juju Smith-Schuster might be too much for the earth to handle.
Yeah, Jackson Mahomes, if I was Patrick, I would just tell him, yeah, you can't come to the Chiefs anymore. This is just not good.
Chase says, I've been calling the Chiefs game all season as the upset game. Ooh.
It's not happening. I would love it. It's
Chiefs,
not happening.
Yeah. Let's see here. But just Tugger, just a little side point. I actually like the Raiders. I think the Raiders may make a run to the Super Bowl. So I don't think that's
in that division. Ooh,
yeah. Oof. Yeah, I'm big on the Raiders. I really am. I'm big on their coach. I'm big on their quarterback. I'm big on their receiver. Yep. I like their defense. I'll
stacked on defense.
Yeah. Jesus is King says, I'm excited to see Chazon play in the Hall of Fame game. If he doesn't do anything, there's no hope for this guy.
Poof. Yeah.
If you're playing in the Hall of Fame game, you better have a fire under your butt to do something.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Chef Florida Boy says, definitely going to go get the Chiefs. Party overrated. Yeah, the Chiefs are overrated. I agree. They are. They're going to be not good this year. I'm telling you right now.
Someone cut and paste that.
Yeah. Duval Till We Die says, Duval. Robert Adford says, good meds. Sorry. Good meds. He said, sorry. Tight ends got 33% of snaps for Peterson. Okay, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Good meds. Hey, man. Good. I'm glad. Who do you guys think, this is from Do All Till We Die, who do you guys think is the best wide receiver on the Jaguars currently? Go ahead, Cole.
Best wide receiver on the Jaguars currently. I don't think that is a. I don't think that is a question. I think it's Christian Kirk.
It's Christian Kirk, hands down.
Yeah, I mean, trying to look for a double meaning there, my guy. But yeah, no, it's Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk's going to surprise people. He's going to surprise people. Yeah,
I agree.
I talked about it earlier. The guy's more suited for our offense than he was Arizona's, for sure. Chef Florida Boy says the Honey Badger's gone too from Kansas City. Volk Fang says, I'm going to be driving home from work, so I won't be in the chat, but much love, everyone. Looking forward to the defensive breakdown. Volk, we're about to end soon, so you're not missing much. Don't worry, my guy. I appreciate you being here. Chiefs are not what they used to be. Chase says it's called an upset for a reason. Ross is already out for the year. Yeah. Juju, yeah. Gordon got cut. He got arrested again.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Well, you never know.
Us and Them says, I would have put in Juju's contract that he can never meet or interact with Jackson Mahomes. Robert says, the guy with the gun. Chase says, for fun, who will be the most productive in the Hall of Fame game? Jeff Cotton Jr.? No, I know the answer to that's going to be.
All right, what you got?
It's going to be Jake Luton.
Jake Luton.
Quarterback Jake Luton. I'm big on Jake Luton. I'm big. Dude, you realize the Jags cut him last year and the Seahawks signed him and kept him on their roster as a third quarterback? Jake Luton's got an arm. Jake Luton's going to show y'all something.
All right.
For sure. Nolly Full Cap, member for 11 months, joins the Matt Jones level. Hey.
Oh, yeah?
Thank you. The Matt Jones level is the next tier of
my gosh.
member. He says, thanks for the well wishes, Jason. Hit me up if you are in Denver. So I go to Denver every couple years, Nolly. So I definitely will do that because I try to go to an Avs game every couple years. I went to the Jags-Broncos game when Gardner Minshew led the comeback against Drew Lock and the Broncos up there. That was a great game. I'll never forget that.
God, that statement.
Tugger says, do you think Snoop Connor plays in the Hall of Fame game? Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But who knows? Who knows? All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up. We're an hour 3. That's a good show. An hour show.
It was good.
I'll take that. No breaks, no commercials. Where are you going to get that kind of content anywhere? If you listen to the radio.
We don't stop here, people.
You get if you listen to the radio here in Jacksonville, local radio, you get 20 minutes of talking on a 3-hour show.
Yeah, seriously.
They literally go to break every 5 minutes. So you're not going to get this kind of content anywhere, which is why we do it. Honestly, that was one of the reasons why. Zay Jones says Slaughter's going to lead the Hall of Fame game in passing. Nolly Fullcap says, I run a sick brewery right next to the ball arena. Come through. Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
dude, Nolly,
what?
We're making a trip, bro.
Let's go. That's what I'm saying.
We're making a trip for sure.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate all you guys that were in here in the chat. You guys make this so much fun. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. If you haven't yet, Cole and me did a show a couple days ago talking about the AFC South. It was really good.
Absolutely.
So if you enjoyed this show, go back and watch that show. It was a really good one. I have some film breakdowns I put out. I have a couple shows I put out. I was on UCF's channel last night. Saturday, I'm putting out my defensive breakdown. Mike Caldwell, his defense, the 3-4 scheme, what they ran in Tampa, how they use linebackers, all those things for sure. Cole, man, thank you, man.
Dude.
I put Cole on the spot today. You guys don't even know. I made him rank him. I didn't even tell him we were doing that. Yeah. So
many to make a list, but not rank them. But no, that was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
So appreciate that for sure.
Yeah,
make sure to follow the Instagram and the Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give the YouTube video a thumbs up. Tell your friends about it. I'm not embarrassed to say it. You got friends that are Jags fans. Tell them about the channel. I mean, that's the
absolutely
the best way to grow is organically through the word of mouth, and that's what I'm talking about here. Last thing I'm gonna plug is my Twitch at Jags_United because I have a feeling that Cole and me are going to be on my Twitch here in a few minutes.
Oh my gosh. If you thought this content was good, people, get on that Twitch.
So if you want to keep talking Jags, we're going to be on Twitch, doing something else on the side, but also talking Jags. So make sure to do that. Chase said, are you doing your sports podcast yet? Yes, Chase, kind of. I'll talk about that on my next show for sure. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Head over to Twitch, Jags_United. More content coming in about 10, 15 minutes. We're going to take a little break, go to the bathroom, things like that, and keep it